Hi guys, my name is Christine and I'm a dating, relationship and personal development coach, and today I'm talking about the kind of men that women obsess over. Okay, so if you are hoping to attract more women and you want to become the kind of guy that women want, desire, prefer over other guys that she may be dating and talking to, then this is the video for you. Okay, so in a nutshell, the kind of men that women obsess over are the men that are hard to get. Now, there's a way that you can show that and display that in your behavior when dating a woman that isn't cold or dismissive towards her or mean. You can adopt this sort of reservation, okay, without being an arsehat, okay. So yes, you can still show interest in that. You can still ask women out that you like on dates. You can still meet up with them on those dates and hang out and have a great time. But what you can do to show that you're a little bit more hard to get is by, first of all, you could try not revealing how you feel before she reveals how she feels. So, for example, when it comes to the topics of telling her that you like her or that you're in love with her, or that you can't wait to spend the rest of your lives together, those kinds of things, don't be the first one to do that. Let her be the first one to do that. Let her wonder if you actually really like her by not telling her. Okay, because what can tend to happen is that when you really like someone, you tend to over-explain. You kind of want to send her a message and be like, oh, I really, really like you. Oh, you make me feel this way, and all these kinds of different things. But that's not showing being hard to get. You're not playing hard to get. You're playing very easy to get. Okay, and women are more attracted to men whose feelings are unclear, and that is an actual study that was done in 2011. You can go and search it yourself on Google. Just type in women are more attracted to men whose feelings are unclear, and it will come up with that exact document, that paper that was done. But like I said, you don't have to be mean, you don't have to be cold, but just let her say I love you first. Let her say I like you first. Let her reveal her romantic feelings and desires towards you first. Okay? And just let your role be, when you go out on a date, to just have a great time. To just, get her to laugh, to be silly and goofy and giggle together and just have a blast. That should be your only objective when you're out on a date with a woman and on subsequent dates after that. Okay? So let her be the first one to reveal her feelings. That's one of the things that you can do to show that you're more hard to get without being horrible or mean or cold, or showing that you're not interested at all. Okay. So another way that you can do this as well is don't always be available to chat, because if you're too available and you're always there each time she messages you, each time she phones you up, and you can talk to hours with her, don't do that. Okay. That's showing that you're too available and that you're not being hard to get. So what I would suggest that you do is do what Corey Wayne says when it comes to communication, and just use the phone for setting up dates. Okay, so that means you're texting when you're calling her up. You're doing so with the purpose of arranging to meet up in person, not to get to know each other over text, over Messenger, over the phone. Where you're going to just talk for hours and hours and hours. Don't bother doing that. Just use texting to meet up. Okay, so don't always be available to chat. And because one of the reasons why that also puts women off sometimes is because if you're always available to chat, it shows that you've got really nothing else going on in your life. Like, perhaps you're a student, for example, and you're not going to class, or you're not studying, or perhaps you've got too much time on your hands on the evening. It just shows that you're not that driven, that you've got nothing better to do with your time. You're not going out and seeing friends or anything like that. It just shows that to the woman that you would spend hours and hours talking to her, when in reality you should have a busy life and friends that you should be actually prioritizing over her, because you've only known her for a little bit and she's only a girl you're just dating. There's no reason why you should be spending so much time chatting to her when you've already lived a whole life before you've known her, and you should have other people that you want to hang out with, friends you want to see, family you want to see, hobbies that you want to be diving into, rather than just dropping everything to just talk to her. Okay? So don't always be available to chat, because it shows that you've got nothing else going on in your life, And it makes things very, very boring when you go out on a date with a woman, because if you've already told her everything about your life and you've already found out everything about her, when you go out on the date, you're going to have nothing to talk about. I don't know about you, but I sometimes find this when I'm talking to my friends, when we meet up in person, because we've been talking so much about our lives, whenever we get those moments, there's not really a lot to talk about when you hang out, right? So I tend to now just sort of reserve some information that I can talk to them when I actually see them, because otherwise we've got nothing to talk about because we've already said everything to each other over message. Okay, so don't always be available to chat, and that's another way that you can come across as hard to get without, again, being cold or mean. Okay, also it's a good idea as well, and you should definitely adopt this 100%, and that is to have a calling or a mission that you're trying to do, a goal that you're trying to achieve that's more important than her. Okay, now this doesn't mean that you express that so much with words, but just have a hobby, have a goal that you're trying to achieve, or a calling. Perhaps there's something that you really want to be, a certain career, a certain amount of money that you want to earn, a certain skill that maybe you want to do. Perhaps you want to write a book. Just make that your main priority. And if you make something like that your main priority, and your main priority isn't women or the girl that you really like, then you're less likely to make emotional mistakes. Because if you spend all your time thinking about the woman or the women that you're dating, it's more likely for you to not have that emotional self-control and to fall back on the advice that I've laid out in this video, and you might make mistakes. You might feel vulnerable one night and send her a message saying, do you still like me, and all this kind of stuff. Stuff that is likely, not to necessarily put off a woman that really, really likes you, but it's not going to turn her on either, right? And if it's a woman who's on the fence, then she may actually find that really unattractive and start to dislike you and not want to see you as much, because you're coming on too strong in those moments and you're not exercising your emotional self-control. So, if you've got the emotional self-control to execute these things, then please start to do them, because like that study says, women are more attracted to men whose feelings are unclear. So the best thing you to do in order to put yourself in the best possible position for her to obsess over you is to play hard to get, to be somewhat distant only until she starts saying these things to you. Okay, when she starts saying, I like you, I love you, I want you to be my boyfriend, then you can reciprocate if that's what you want as well. Okay, and of course as well, it doesn't mean that you're not asking her out on dates either. You're doing, like I say, like what Corey Wayne says, you're using the phone to set up in-person dates. So she knows you're going to be interested in her somewhat, because you're inviting her out and you're hanging out with her and you're spending time with her. But it's going beyond that when you start getting too emotional too soon. And when I say too soon, I mean before she is. Okay, if she's not being emotional with you and saying romantic things to you, then clearly she's not ready to hear those things either. So that's how you do it. That's how you execute that. And it's a very simple process. But the thing is that you do need the emotional self-control and the self-restraint to be able to execute that, because it is tempting. If you really like a woman, it is tempting to over text her, to chit chat with her, to tell her how you feel on the inside and how she makes you feel. But in reality, it's not going to make her like you more. It's not going to make her obsess over you. And this is what this video is about. It's about making women obsess over you. And this is how you do it. That's just how you do it. But, when she tells you that she's in love with you, that she likes you, you've caught her. She's obsessed. She wants you. She wants to be together with you. So it's okay then to reciprocate those feelings. Okay, it's not like you can never say these things. It's not like you can never tell her that you like her, never tell her that you love her. You just wait for her to say those things first. That's all. Okay, it's very, very simple. So thank you so much for watching. If you'd like to get in touch with me personally and you'd like coaching with me, then please go to www.christinelovridge.com. And if you can't afford coaching, or for whatever reason, or you'd just prefer to coach yourself, then you can go again to www.christinelovridge.com. Link is in the description. And you can coach yourself by reading my book, Attracting the Beautiful Woman of Your Dreams. And you can access this completely for free on my website. You don't have to log in. You don't have to sign up for anything. It's just there for you to read on the website. So when you go to the website, just go on the menu and then click on the book, and it'll take you straight to the PDF reader. There is a link as well to Amazon.com if you'd like to get the physical copy. which has a nice discreet spine if you don't want it to be publicizing that you've got a dating book on your shelf. But the Kindle version is much cheaper. So if you do happen to purchase either the physical copy or the cheaper Kindle version of the book, I'd really appreciate it if you could leave a nice review about the book, or just about my coaching in general, especially if I've helped you or you feel like I've helped you in the past, because this might be not the first video of mine that you've come across. So that would be greatly appreciated. So thank you so much for watching, and I shall talk to you again very soon. Goodbye.